In my previous video, I read from a few news articles regarding how a particular letter that was written over 20 years ago went viral on social media, and I shared some thoughts regarding why it went viral. Now, I'm being intentionally vague right now because some of the social media platforms are now removing that video and saying that it is violating their community guidelines. So I don't even want to get into the details of that specific video. If you saw it, you saw it. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know. But in this video, I wanted to address something else related to that whole situation. So in this video, I just wanted to highlight some of the dangers of dishonesty and how it can actually push people to different extremes. Essentially, right now, many people are educating themselves regarding what's happening in Palestine and what's been happening in Palestine. And they're seeing how the Palestinians are mercilessly being killed and bombed. Innocent civilians and children are suffering to an extent that we can't even fathom it. We can't even wrap our heads around it. So they're going down these rabbit holes and looking into the whole history of that situation and the relation of the United States to that situation. And they're essentially realizing how they have been presented a certain view of reality, of the Middle East, of Palestine, of Muslims, of Arabs, and they are realizing for the first time that, wow, things are not the way that they were portrayed to me. Not only that, but when they have this genuine realization, they're also seeing the disingenuous response that many people are also having to that natural feeling that they're having. Because people then want to say, oh, well, you are then sympathizing with such and such terrorist. You are then promoting and legitimizing such and such terrorist organization or terrorist act. And it's like, no, that's not what anyone is saying. In my previous video, I said, in no less than 3 different occasions of that video, I said, this doesn't mean that anybody is supporting or agreeing with, such and such individual or their organization or any sort of terrorist act. But when people refuse to acknowledge that, it's one of two things. Either they legitimately just can't comprehend it. They're just not intellectually equipped to understand it for whatever reason. Or they're just continuing to be dishonest. And they're continuing to try and paint things in a dishonest way. And this can actually push people further in the opposite direction because they realize that the other side is either incapable or purposefully unwilling to have an honest conversation, to be truthful when dealing with the complexities of reality. I actually think the masses of people have much more potential in terms of being able to intellectually understand things that are happening than they're giving credit for. However, in order to reach that potential, they have to be spoken to in a way, they have to be informed in a way that's honest. People want to be presented with the truth, and then they want to be given the opportunity of reaching a conclusion regarding how they view a situation. However, when they are treated in a way as if they are incapable of such, and therefore what they are presented is catered to try and push them in a certain direction, it's meant to try to think for them, then once they realize that they have been manipulated in this way, it can be shocking. People will then feel taken advantage of, exploited, abused. But just because one side might make them feel that way, it doesn't necessarily mean that the other side is then honest and that that's the side that needs to be supported. And we need to join this other group because life is much more complex than that. However, people in this society were so used to being raised in a way where you're either with this side or you're with this side. You only have 2 options. So for example, after 9/11, what did the United States President George W. Bush say? He said, every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists. It's either this or this. Well, what about a third option where I just want to be on the side of the truth? I just want to be on the side of what's right. I'm with the truth, and it's up to this and this side to also be with the truth. And all that we're really seeing happening right now with many people on social media is they're starting to wake up to this reality for the first time.